Sick cruise guests cause flight cancellations. This is not the type of news I like to cover when it comes to cruising because it makes the cruise industry kind of icky. And I can tell you right now, people that are already iffy about cruising, this is just going to further their case to not get on board. Welcome back, cruisers, to All Aboard with Joe. Before we get into today's cruise story, I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. We are about to break 1,000 subscribers, and I'm about to head off to Alaska. So it's almost like I'm celebrating a huge milestone, even though I already had this trip booked for a while. But yeah, I just want to say thank you. So if you are new here and you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I create videos every single week, and I will be doing onboard reviews and tours and stuff like that. So if you like cruising or you like to know more about cruising, hit that subscribe button. So as I mentioned, there was a United Airlines flight going from Vancouver to Houston, Texas on May 31st, where there was a massive illness outbreak. There was an estimated between 25 to 30 guests that had the norovirus, which basically caused nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. As you can imagine, that's not something you want on a plane. It's bad enough if one person is sick on a plane in the bathroom, but 25 to 30 people, that's a lot. Even worse, if you haven't already caught on from the title, there was one common theme between all the guests, and that was that they were all cruise passengers. Hence why I said this is the type of cruise news I hate, because once again, a lot of people think that there's a lot of germs on board, which there are, but if you take some good precautions and wash your hands, that's going to help you not get sick like these poor people did. Now, of course, the CDC got involved because whenever there's some kind of outbreak, especially on some kind of trip, whether it's a hotel, an airplane, or in this case, a cruise ship, there has to be some investigation involved because they want to make sure that they can lock down where the location of the like I guess the epicenter was of the sickness, and also make sure that everyone else is okay so that they can kind of lock it down and make sure the proper protocols are in place to fix and kind of nip the norovirus in the bud and make sure it's all cleared away, or however that works. So here's the interesting thing. The article that I read does not pinpoint exactly for sure which cruise ship these people got sick from. What I find interesting though is that this group obviously just came from a cruise ship because they said they were cruise passengers. So why didn't they say the name of the cruise ship? I don't know if it's a defamation thing and they want to make sure that they're not going to go put the blame game out there, but in my opinion, I don't understand how you can't just tell us which cruise ship it is. Now, any investigative journalist, even a child, can figure this out. So they all came from Vancouver, and at the time of the May 31st departure, which is usually, most people don't exactly stay post cruise as often as you'd think, 20 something guests leaving Vancouver, and there was only one cruise line in port, and that was the Radiance of the Seas from Royal Caribbean. Now, obviously, like I said, the article didn't want to point fingers at Royal Caribbean, but it's pretty clear that if they were the only cruise ship in port, well, chances are it was the Radiance of the Seas. Now, the article does state, and this is one, this is them being proper journalists without having 100% confirmation it was the Royal Caribbean ship. They said that there is a chance that this group, assuming maybe they were traveling together, that is quite a large group, maybe that they actually were staying in Vancouver post cruise, and it could have been another cruise ship. Like I said, I don't understand why we haven't heard the name from the cruise guests, but maybe they're just kind of staying tight-lipped for now. Now, the interesting thing is that the Radiance of the Seas had a recent norovirus outbreak not too long ago. And if you're not familiar with the norovirus, it's like I said, it's a stomach bug. So usually it lasts, 48 hours or something like that, but you are contagious up to 2 weeks after. Not everyone is, but you can be. So it's always best to be safe after, whether you're with loved ones or, friends, just maybe stay away for a while. Now, here's what I'm curious about. What are the protocols in place for United Airlines pointing fingers and filing like a lawsuit of some sort towards the cruise line? Now, I only ask this because now, as someone who flies a lot, whenever my flight is canceled, whether it's from lack of staff or whatever reason, it frustrates me to no end. And I feel like I should be compensated because you're screwing up my vacation, my business plans, whatever it is. For example, I'm going to Alaska. I'm actually going to Vancouver at the end of this week. So this is a very topical thing for me. But my thought process is I'm actually flying United. So what if my United flight was canceled? This would really screw up my plans, right? So my question is, if United is able to confirm it's Royal Caribbean, are they able to file a lawsuit or get some kind of fee from them? Because they had to not only delay a future flights, I think they canceled a total of 3 flights due to this outbreak, because they had to not only clean up the cabin, but they also had to make sure that it was safe for people to fly in, their staff, the flight crew and just everyone, including future guests. So I am actually curious the business side of this and how this actually affects the cruise line, and do they have to pay some kind of fee for causing this issue? Definitely one of the downsides of being a cruise line, having so many customers come through their hallways, so to speak, that they're going to deal with some kind of sickness like this. I'm sure norovirus is a common thing, especially when it comes on cruise ships. And I've been lucky where I've never caught COVID or a norovirus on a cruise ship. So I'm very lucky in that respect, but still, I know it happens because there's a lot of people touching things. And that's why I always say you should be washing your hands constantly or have sanitizer with you at all times. So the last thing I want to mention before ending this video is that in the article, it says that none of the ill flight passengers required hospitalization. So that's great. No one was that sick other than just having a really upset stomach, vomiting, diarrhea, which is not fun, but at least none of them are hospitalized. Also, they make mention that there were a total of 163 passengers on the United flight, and 6 United Airline crew members on the impacted flight, while the Boeing 737 MAX 8 had a capacity of 189 to 210 guests, depending on its exact configuration. Of those on board the aircraft, 75 were on the cruise prior to returning to Texas. So the good news there is, and hopefully no one really got sick after this, but the good news is that of the guests, 75 were cruise passengers, and there were about half that, or a little bit less than half that, were actually the ones that were ill on the flight. So, hopefully everyone else stayed safe and maybe had masks to mask up and, avoid the norovirus. But, this stuff happens, people. It happens. Well, guys, not the most exciting cruise news today, but it is cruise news nonetheless. And I just want to say thank you again for subscribing. I would love to know in the comments if you've ever been sick from a cruise. And, even further, even if you have or haven't, does this kind of news sway you in the negative direction of cruises? And if it does, that's okay. But I want to hear what you have to think in the comments below, because, this doesn't exactly sway my opinion. If anything, it educated me even further on my amount of sanitizer and washing my hands and just being careful about how I'm touching things on a cruise ship. It's no different than going to a busy area of any sorts, like a mall or a movie theater. You just don't want to be touching everything and then touching your face. You just want to be aware of your surroundings and just be a little bit more cautious. But, cruise ships, a lot of people are walking about, crew, guests. It's just something you have to be aware of. It's just something that's unfortunate and it's inevitable in a way. But hopefully all those people are safe, they're feeling better, and this doesn't sway you to not want to cruise if you are not someone like me who cruises as often as I do. As always, guys, this is All Aboard with Joe, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. I will see you in the next one. Peace.